Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Prep Hub with Philos Monsuya. On my platform, I share with you migration plan as well as study abroad scholarships and other you know academic related gist around the world. Now, it happens that last week I was in the conversation with a friend of mine in Nigeria, studying in Nigeria actually, and then I share this pain. I understand this frustration. It could be very, very disappointing when that you put in for study for 4 years and it's taking like ages to complete that study. You know what kind of frustration it is. And plus the gist going around the trends on social media, I also saw that a lot of schools are also increasing their tuition fee. Now, I wouldn't have problem with increasing tuition fee personally if what the schools are dishing out matches, is necessary compared to what the academic system or curricula that they run with, meets to this world. But it is not so. It is not so. So you begin to wonder and begin to question if it is necessary, to have those increments. And that brings me to today's discourse to share with you guys one of the migration tips that I told my friend because he was really frustrated to the point that he was, oh my God. So he asked me, like, hey, bro, what's the next plan? What should I do? What do I do? And I told him, I said, listen, the what you have to do is just jet out of the country, study abroad, compared to what you're going to be paying, and you can get the same, you can pay actually what you're paying right now in Nigeria for study. You can actually get a study abroad with the same, budget. So I told him, I said, okay, fine. What comes to mind, what really came to my mind at that time was, France. So France was one of those countries that I penned down in my bucket list, talking about migration plan as well as study abroad. Why France? Why France? France because France is relatively cheap when it comes to tuition fee. Yeah. So you see, with 2,000 Ghana cedis and about 130,000 naira. Now, their schools pay more than that in Nigeria, right? Their schools pay more than 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 for tuition fee. Okay, but in France, you can pay as low as 130,000. It is called national fee, which is their tuition fee, right? You see the difference. So you can pay as low as 130,000 for a master program in France, while in Nigeria you're paying over 200,000 for your master program. So it doesn't balance up. So I told him, I said, listen, what you can do is to begin to look for studies in France, right? Now, that's because France have low tuition fee. So if your budget is very low, you should consider France as a place of study. Now, another reason why you should consider France is because their healthcare insurance system is very affordable compared to US, for instance, compared to Canada, even to Netherlands where I reside. It is very, very cheap. And it is cheap because the government covers over 60% of the health insurance. So imagine the government is already paying 60%. Plus, you can also have 100%. You can. It is very possible to even get 100% health insurance coverage. Yeah, that is how it is in France. Very, very interesting place to study. Now, another interesting thing about France is when you're applying, there's a waiver for application fee. You do not have to pay application fee. So because sometimes it could be very frustrating when you put in for application, for instance, and you're rejected, and you know the pain you have to go through to pay another application fee for another study, and you get rejected. So to knock off all those ideas, France do not require application fee. There's a waiver fee for application, for instance. So you can apply as many times, as many schools as you want. And then, of course, you will get your application attended to. So if you have questions bordering on application, for instance, you can also check with Campus France. There's a Campus France representative in each country, so you can Google them, look them up. Campus France representative in my country, in Nigeria, in Ghana, for instance, and then be in touch with them, and they will guide you through the process. Then another thing is there is no IELTS required when you're applying to study in France. Yeah, you heard that right. So IELTS, there's a waiver for IELTS, for instance, if you're a native speaker of English. Do you get it? So if you can prove that your study was done in English, of course, I mentioned in some other videos I did in time past that you can apply for IELTS waiver from your school, for instance. So if you go to your school, you can talk to your HOD or Dean of Faculty and apply for IELTS waiver to prove that your study was done in English. The instruction of study was also in English. So if you have that, you can use that to apply for study in France, and the IELTS exam will be waived for you. Other than that, there are some schools that insist and requires that you present your IELTS or 12, for instance. So, but majority of them do not require IELTS. You can get that as a waiver. Then another thing, it's the fact that there is a migration plan. Yeah, there's a migration plan. So if at the end of your study is to stay back, there's a post-study visa for you. There's a post-study visa for 1 year or 2 years, after your study. So you can actually stay back, get a job, and then you begin to plan your settle. And then, of course, you can move your family with you. Now, interestingly, if within that 1 year or 2 years you could not get a job, the government also pays you. They give you little stipend just to, encourage you while you're still looking out for the job. Who does that? But France government does. France government does pay you little stipend while you're still waiting to get a job after your post-study. Do you get the gist now? So it's very, very important that you look at this, destination when you're considering to study. Now, for me personally, I love my African dish. So when I am looking out for a place to study, I'm looking at how is it there? Can I still get my local dish? Will I get my eba and other, local dish? So France is one place that food is very, very cheap because there's a lot of African influence there. A lot of Africans live there. So food is relatively cheap. You can get your local dish, in any of the restaurants. So it's a place to consider when you put all these factors into consideration. Then importantly, I will not skip this part, is the fact that you have a Schengen visa. Now, because you have a Schengen visa, you can travel to other EU countries. You're not limited, so you can travel to other EU countries, which is also very cheap. Because with a train, you can be in Spain, you can be in Italy, you can be in Netherlands, you can be in Belgium. Right? So it is cheap to move around, and because France is a Schengen country, you can move around with the visa that you have. Then last but not the least is scholarship. Now, even though the tuition fee for your study program is cheap, there's still scholarship. So if you meet the requirement for scholarship, you can also apply for scholarship. So there is a lot of reasons, benefits why you should consider studying in France. I think it's high time we begin to consider studying abroad compared to what we are getting for our countries. So please, if this video has been informative to you, kindly share with your friends, and of course subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can go on my page on Facebook, Prep Hub, that's the name on Facebook. I have a lot of information there about migration tips, about study abroad, scholarship as they roll out, and of course other academic gist all around the world. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and the links to all this information I mentioned, the links to scholarship, the links to the low tuition fee sites, where you can find schools in France with low tuition. I will leave them at the description box, below this video. So please share with your friends, leave comments. If you have any inquiry, just leave it at the comment section. I will do well to, respond to them as quickly as possible. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to Prep Up. Thank you.